Morning all, just on my way to pick up Dan on this beautiful day. Interestingly, today's subject is the seasons or weather, how it affects us, how it affects certain people, what the weather's doing. And today's a good case in point. It's a beautiful day. We're going to be able to sit outside and film somewhere, which would be great. If it had been pissing down, we'd be stuck inside. The weather affects a lot, not just what you're doing and how you're doing it, but how you feel about it. Anyway, stick around.
So we thought we'd talk, as spring is springing,
Yeah.
thought we'd talk a bit about the seasons.
Well, it's a very British thing to do, isn't it? If you
We'll talk about the weather.
Yeah. If ever you meet someone, nice day today, isn't it?
Yeah,
Horrible day.
still got to keep a coat on though.
I mean, weirdly, having been like a nice sunny day, it's all of a sudden we've got a big black cloud and it's got a bit chilly.
That's
hasn't
it.
So we're a country of 4 very distinct seasons, aren't we?
We were. Yeah, but yeah, go on. No.
Well, I was just saying, we've got a very definite winter. It's bloody freezing. 50% of the time it snows.
What?
50% of the winters you get a bit of snow. No?
Go on.
Okay.
You do your little intro.
Well, I was just going to say.
Then we can have an argument about it.
Spring, it either pisses down half the time or it's sunny. It's a bit of both. This sort of weather, it's nice, but you could do with a coat. Summers can be a great thing, lovely, warm, basking weather, or not quite. And then autumn, we always get all the, I love autumn. All the leaves, all of that, bonfire night, all that stuff. I just think the year is very nicely split up.
I find bonfire night a bit difficult to deal with because celebrating burning an effigy,
Yeah.
I find peculiar enough. Burning someone that tried to blow Parliament up, I straight out just disagree with.
Well, I've never thought of it in those terms.
Well, you don't, do you? It's sort of propaganda in its purest form.
Wow. I mean, I shouldn't enjoy it. When I was 3 or 4, someone burnt me in the face with a sparkler. And I had a scar for quite a few years
Did you?
because of that, yeah. But,
Sparklers, yeah.
But
I
Jim-
got hit in the face by a firework.
you can tell.
I was like, ooh, smack! Yeah, fall out from a rocket.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, right in the corner of my eye.
But I generally like that time of year. I don't know why, because it means the winter's on its way, but it's quite nice after a long summer when it starts getting a bit cosy in the nights, getting a bit dark and stuff.
I think that's the thing is that it's a bit like football matches. Quite like it, but they're just too long.
All our seasons are a bit too long.
They're a bit too long. So I like exactly that. Autumn, leaves start to come down. The colours in the leaves are amazing.
Yeah, drags on a bit though.
But yeah. By the time you get into sort of, I suppose it's winter. By the time you're in deep winter,
Yep.
I think the greyness.
Well, the winter goes on a long time. If you think about it, if we get unlucky, it kicks in sort of end of October, and it can be still going in March.
But you could have,
And that's
if
a
you
lot.
had that nice blue sky, snow, crisp sort of,
That's not so bad, yeah.
but it's not, is it?
No.
It's damp,
Yeah.
it's grey,
Yep.
it's light for about 8 hours a day.
Yep.
It's just what they call it, sad.
Was it seasonal affective disorder or
Yeah.
something? Yeah, I don't get it, but I get the fallout from it because my partner gets it, and I think a lot of people get it, and I can totally see the different world it is when it's a nice day.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a better
Oh,
mood,
totally.
and that affects my mood.
Yeah.
I don't personally get that.
No,
I get
but I
secondary.
wonder whether sad is just a name for something that everybody gets. Because when you have to just walk to the shop,
Yeah.
and it's a grey, miserable, cold, and you're like, oh, fucking grey, miserable, cold day. Sun's out, hot day, in your shorts. You're like, this is bloody lovely.
Yeah.
Surely everybody suffers with the same.
I think it boils down to whether you're a pessimist, an optimist. You know, ultimately that's what it is. I think.
Right.
Because I love the damp and the rain and that for one reason, and that reason is I become very productive. When the weather's like that, I'm like, right, there's nowhere better to be than locked in my studio, working, getting on with stuff, doing stuff that he's doing, making plans. I just feel driven by crap weather. Whereas when it's beautiful outside and I'm sat in there working, I'm like, I want to be outside.
I want to be outside, yeah.
So I feel that I wouldn't get as much done or wouldn't be able to work as hard if it was like this all the time.
See, I quite like this sort of spring, isn't it? You can just see the leaves starting to bud on the trees and whatever these are, daffodils.
If it was 5 degrees warmer, this would be perfect.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, like you say, we've just been done over by the classic British enormous grey cloud.
I mean, if the sun came out now, this would be a perfect day. Yeah, because it's not too hot. You don't feel like you're missing anything if you're not in it. But if you have to be in it, it's very reasonable.
Would you say you were a Christmas person? Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I do love it. I do love Christmas, but it's changed, in my opinion.
Right.
In that, obviously, when you're a kid, it's a very different thing anyway.
Yeah.
It's the most exciting day of the year. Everything about it is amazing, and obviously,
That's all based around presents, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's based around presents, but also, I have a lot of nostalgia. My parents are both gone, and I don't see my brother and sister very often. That was, all the memories of Christmas when I was a kid were amazing. Some of the best times, best memories I've got. That era has gone. Those Christmases are never coming back. That's quite hard to get your head around. And, I have the same feelings about Christmases when my kids were young. That was amazing. When my kids little, being excited, opening their presents and all that. Now I'm like, in my 50s, it's like Christmases aren't like that anymore. So as much as I enjoy it, it's not like that. It's not. I'm not going to have the best Christmas ever. I think I've done that.
You think you've had your best Christmas ever? Could you put your finger on which Christmas that might have been?
I mean, there's probably two that spring to mind. There was one at some point in the 80s. I guess I would have been 13 or something like that, or 12. Just at the end of still loving Christmas before it becomes a bit crapper. It's just, I just remember, got all the presents I wanted to get. I got electric guitar, I was really excited. Mum and dad, brother in there. It was all really nice. And then there was a similar one when my kids were really little. I remember Ethan desperately wanted a tractor, a ride-on tractor thing, and he got one. Of course, he was mega excited, but not half as excited as he was to play in the box. Him and his brother just climbing in the box,
And did you do, obviously Santa is real.
Obviously.
Did you do the whole Santa thing with your kids?
Yeah. Yeah, did snowy footprints going up the stairs.
Did you?
The whole shebang, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
What, leaving out mince pies and a glass of sherry?
Yeah. You have to.
Do you?
Well, no, you don't have to. Yeah, what is it encouraging in kids? I don't know. All I know is it feels kind of magical, and you don't want to take that away from kids.
One year when my brother was about 8 or 9, I've got a brother that's 2 years younger than me and one that's 6 years younger than me. When my 2 years younger brother was about 8 or 9, on Christmas Eve, we're in our pyjamas. We've got a log burner. We'd had this lovely sort of. I think my mum and dad had popped round to the neighbours for Christmas Eve drinks and sort of left us in there. And I went, "Come here, kid. Don't you see that? That's all the presents you're going to get from Santa tomorrow morning."
No, that's evil. Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, and he opened the first one and cried for the rest of the day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
I still feel guilty about that.
I had a Christmas, we've probably gone off on a Christmas bent here, but when I was, I think about 8 or 9, I had a conversation with my dad, who was a big prankster. And he was asking me whether I believed in Father Christmas, and I said no. And it's because my dad had a Father Christmas outfit. I knew he did.
Yeah.
And he used to dress up as Father Christmas, but he used to do it on Christmas Eve, and then he'd get my mum to take a photo of him putting the presents at the end of my bed, and then I'd see it the next morning, as a Polaroid.
Yeah.
Oh, Father Christmas has been here.
That's brilliant.
He made the mistake of dressing up as Father Christmas on one of my birthdays, which was in early January, so it's still kind of Christmas.
Yeah.
And I saw, my dad used to chew his fingernails, and I saw his fingernails and went, "Oh my God, it's Dad." So I said to him,
it's Dad.
When he asked, he said, "Do you believe in Father Christmas?" I said, "No, I don't think so, I think it's you." I said, I don't think there is a Father Christmas.
Yeah.
And he said, "If you really don't believe, then Christmas Eve," which it was at the time, he goes, "Open the window just before you go to bed and shout top of your voice, you don't believe in Father Christmas." I went, "Yeah, right." So I did, top of my voice, shouted out, "I don't believe in Father Christmas." Didn't get any presents the next morning. I was like, I can't remember
Your
how
dad
long.
sounds like a right laugh.
He was hilarious, but I don't remember how many hours it went on for, but it was enough that I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
What have I done?
Yeah.
No presents.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Of course, the other thing was it was part of school holidays. So,
Yeah.
you know, we used to have like a hat competition. Used to make a hat for the end of. This is primary school.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was college. At the end of primary school, and you'd all make a Christmas hat, and then there'd be like a competition, and there was all that sort of. The build-up just seemed a bit more, I don't know, real when you were a kid, I suppose. You know, and then it was all a build-up. You'd finish school, and then it was a build-up to Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Whereas now, once they've started the Christmas adverts in late October,
Oh, it's late September, mate.
by the time
It's a nightmare.
you get to December,
you've had enough.
You're sick to death of it.
Yeah. That is the problem with it now. It is just, well, A, it's a massive expense.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, the amount of money it costs now, you know, and you get ripped off a bit. You know,
bit.
There's just a lot of pressure now to spend a lot of money at Christmas, and it's, you know, it's still nice, but I don't think it's ever
Food
gonna
and
be
drink
catch
as
up.
well. Like, it's like, I don't remember, but now, like at Christmas, you sort of, you got sausage rolls and pigs in blankets and mince pies and all this, and it's like I've just seem to remember like hoovering this stuff up.
Yeah.
And now I have a couple of bits fucking bloated.
Yeah.
Cheese boards. We used to have a massive cheese board, and now it's like.
Yeah, everyone always overbuys.
Yeah.
We certainly do.
You're encouraged
Food
to.
and booze. You have too much, and then for the next month, you got leftovers from Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's always the party food that's left over because
Oh,
no one
yeah.
really eats very much of that.
Those horrible little puff pastry things with cheese in them, and
Yeah. Lots of random weird foods you don't eat any other time of year.
But it was interesting. So, of course, we're now at Easter.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. So you're a religious man.
No.
What have rabbits and chocolate eggs got to do with the Bible?
The only thing I've ever understood about it is that the egg symbolises rebirth.
Ah.
That's all I know. I
I
don't know
knew
where
you were
the,
like that with the old JC.
I don't know where the rabbit comes from.
You don't.
No idea.
Yeah. Well,
Or
when
why
a
he's
daddy
got
rabbit loves a mummy rabbit.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But they still don't lay eggs, do they?
So on
what's that?
on
There's no
Shrove
rabbit eggs.
Tuesday
Yeah.
is when Jesus
I don't know when Shrove Tuesday is.
Pancake Day.
I know pancake, but I don't even know when that is. I just know one day a year. I normally miss it by a day and realise everyone's had pancakes the day before.
And then Easter, isn't it when Jesus is reborn?
But what I don't understand about Easter is why is it a different date entirely every year?
I don't know.
Every year it's different.
I don't know.
Surely there's a set gap.
But there is, because Shrove Tuesday moves as well, doesn't it? Because it's not always on the same date.
But that's messed up. What's going on there?
I don't know.
What day did he die? It was that day or
And
that
it's to
day?
do with Lent, isn't it? Maybe the chocolate's to do with giving up, like the end of Lent.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
no.
not a religious festival for me. It's chocolate day.
Chocolate Day.
That's all it
Do you
is.
like a bit of chocky?
I love chocolate. I try
Yeah.
not to eat too much because it's, you know, addictive, isn't it? But yeah, I don't mind an Easter egg. And there's something about Easter chocolate. The egg chocolate tastes better, doesn't it?
So, the what? The egg chocolate? Well, it used to. I mean, we're going to go back again. Do you remember when it used to be thick and it used to be like...
I know. And you used to get stuff inside the egg.
Oh,
You don't get that anymore.
No, Cadbury's cream eggs you used to struggle to bite through.
I remember. I found out recently why the egg chocolate tastes different.
Why?
Because they got pure oxygen in the middle, apparently. So it's different. It does something about preserving it longer on the shelf or something. Or maybe they removed the oxygen. I don't know. But whatever's in the egg is different
So what's...
to what's around it.
Yeah.
So apparently that's why it tastes a bit different.
Yeah. What are you... Because Galaxy used to be quite posh chocolate when I was a kid, but...
Galaxy.
Do you?
Yeah.
It just tastes synthetic now.
I love it.
Do you?
Either Galaxy or Dairy Milk.
It's
Amazing.
Lint now. I like. I've probably a bit middle class.
That's too posh.
Gone up a bit.
Yeah. No, don't like that.
No?
Well, I'm never going to turn it down. But interestingly, last night we sat in front of the telly and we had a posh box of chocolates and didn't like any of them. They're just too posh. It's like I just want some chocolate.
Yeah. Do you read the map or do you just go in and have
I
it?
have to because I'm such a
Yeah.
fussy eater. I don't want to put something in my mouth that might make me sick.
What wouldn't you eat?
99% of it.
Orange cream.
No.
Raspberry cream.
No.
Toffee. Caramel filled cup.
Maybe.
Caramel filled cup with a walnut in.
No.
Coffee cream.
No.
Truffle.
No.
God, I tell you what, we should share boxes of chocolate.
Give me a box of Ferrero Rocher any day.
Yeah. Do you know, well, I'll tell you what I get every Christmas is toffee. Never have them any other time of year.
Weird.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
delicious.
they're
though.
all right.
Well,
They're
they got
weird,
nuts in, so you won't like them.
I don't mind nuts. It's just it's the combination. I don't like nuts and chocolate very often.
So moving on through Easter.
Yes.
So you go back to school after Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you have half term, Easter half term? Do you remember?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
So you must be at school for sort of like 3 or 4 weeks. What is
You
it?
get long terms and short terms, don't you? I can't remember where they are. It's been too long now. But there's February half term.
Yeah.
Then
When's that?
I think some point in February. Still in the middle of February, isn't it? And
Yeah.
then you've got Easter.
Yeah.
And I think there's a long old run in there from Easter to
There must
breaking
be,
up.
yeah, because-
there's the half term is in May.
Yeah.
So it depends when Easter is. If it's in March, then you've got a long term.
Yeah.
If it's in April, it's shorter, obviously.
Because we always used to break up for summer around my birthday, which is mid-July.
Yeah. Yeah, it's normally around the 20th they break up.
Is it?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Because do you remember that? I remember that. I grew up in the countryside and it getting warm at school.
Yeah.
And then the summer holidays coming, and it's like, oh my God, this is a lifetime.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas now that's nothing.
No, I know.
If I've got something important to do that I don't want to do that's 6
Yeah.
weeks away, I'm like, oh God, it's just round the corner.
Yeah, I've got one of those things hanging over me at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just used to go on forever.
Yeah, the summer holidays were awesome.
I think summer has to be my favourite season.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for it not to be.
You know, and then you go and get hay fever and it ruins it.
I used to get it so bad.
Did you?
And for whatever reason, a few years ago, it just fucked off.
Just stopped.
Don't know why. Disappeared. I get it a touch, like a tiny little
Yeah.
bit. But I used to get it terribly. But yeah, it's gone.
My brother suffers with it bad.
But summer in this country is something else, isn't it? I think this is one of the countries where it changes the country.
Yeah, because everybody's in a good mood. It's like what we were saying. I mean, look at this now. There's people out and about, and
Yeah, but also there's so
Playing
many
and-
more places you can go in this country that you can't go unless it's really
Oh,
nice.
God.
We have a lot of good pub gardens and restaurants with gardens and parks.
Yeah.
So many good outside spaces that are just useless
Yeah.
for 3/4 of the year.
yeah.
You know, and then you get those 6-8 weeks in the summer where it's like all of a sudden, boom, we can go. Ooh. I've no idea who that is. I'm going to quickly take that just in case. Hello? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm not right now. I'm not in the office. I haven't got them in front of me. But I mean, I could probably remember most of them. Summer holidays. Yeah, we were just saying that there's so many spaces in this country which only become available in the summer, and it changes this country. Not only that, the sheer amount of countryside that's around, if you're lucky enough to live near it, that looks shit when
Yeah.
there's no leaves on the trees.
Yeah.
It just looks miserable.
Yeah.
And now it's just starting to wake up now. But
Looks
everything
amazing.
goes green. It looks
Yeah.
amazing. And there's not many countries that look as good
Beaches
as
are
this.
amazing in the summer
Yeah.
in England.
Yep.
Long dog walks, like you say, in the countryside.
Beautiful.
Pub garden on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's all
Amazing.
good.
Sitting, we've got like you, doors that open out into the garden.
Yeah,
Getting
I
up on a
fancy that.
Saturday morning.
Yep.
Just opening up the doors, sun
Yeah,
streaming
we've
in.
done, last few weeks we've started being able to do that. It's warm enough. You can just open up, let the air in. Dog can go out. It is changing. You know, it does change the way you feel about life, I suppose.
Yeah, but then you kind of get not bored of that too. But you kind of, by the end of the summer.
Yeah, I've definitely had enough by the end.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't live in LA because of that constant. Let's just have the same weather all day, every day, forever. Drive me insane.
What about the clocks changing? What do you think? What do you think about that?
I'm not sure it's necessary anymore.
No.
But then again, I'm not a farmer. But
Well-
I don't know. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. I quite like it when the nights get darker because it feels cosy and, you know.
Well, I've got to be honest. We were on holiday in Gran Canaria when the clocks went forward this time.
Okay.
And we booked to stay in a hotel. We got an Airbnb and we went somewhere else and stayed in a hotel overnight.
Yeah.
And the clocks went forward, and I was like, I've just been done out of an hour
You have?
in a hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't a cheap hotel.
No.
I was
That's
like,
what, it's the cost.
you should have put checkout time an
That's
hour
really
later.
funny. I've never thought of it in those terms.
Yeah, I was like, I've just been
Honestly,
done out of an hour.
something's
And we had a
wrong.
late night.
Damn, yeah. I mean, I think we all noticed the extra hour in bed or the lack of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
Yeah,
it's,
I've never thought about
it's
the
confusing. Like the other thing is, the clock in my kitchen is one, you know, you have to take it off the wall and
Yeah.
change the hands.
Yeah,
So currently, it's an hour slow.
right.
And at some point, I'll have to change it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it was weeks ago.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll change it. But then I'll have to think, now that's an hour slow. No, it isn't. It's the right time. Or, do you know what I mean? It's confusing for everyone. The biggest one was clocks, the old clocks in cars. Remember before they were
Before they were
Yeah.
just automatic.
Yeah.
You had to get in there.
Yeah.
Well, saying that, I tried to change the clock. I did the clock on the microwave the other day, but I did the clock on the cooker. I
Yeah.
started trying to change it on the mic, couldn't work it out, just left it. Right, no.
My other half uses that we've got. That's the same as everybody else. Got an Alexa or a
Yeah.
or a Siri, but she still uses the timer on the oven.
Oh, right, yeah, no, I've got a completely separate timer, which is just you turn it, push it, done.
What on what?
It's just stuck on the fridge. You bought it off Amazon for like a tenner.
So you don't use your like Alexa or Siri?
I do sometimes, but it's just so easy, just because you have two of them, so you can have two different times running.
Yeah, no. The other half was like, you've just got something. You know, can you check the timer on the oven? And I walked in. You know, ovens are quite basic. You know,
Yeah.
temperature, fan. You know, grill. But walked in, I was just like,
Yep.
no, you're gonna have to come and have a look.
But that's always interesting to me because, like, obviously you and me have had to learn how to use a lot of different technical
Yeah.
stuff. Learn dozens of different mixing desks and
Yeah.
outboard equipment. You know, some of that stuff is like flying the Enterprise.
Yeah.
There's some difficult stuff to get your head around. Timer on a regular kitchen oven,
Yeah.
no.
But it's the amount of time you give it. I'll sort of look at it and
Yeah,
think.
yeah. That's
And
too
the
complicated.
thing is, they've got weird symbols on them. You know,
They
It's
do,
like,
yeah.
what does this mean? And,
Yeah.
and sort of a half a semi. You know,
They do.
doesn't make any sense.
No.
Why don't just use something you can talk to?
How did we get onto?
Timers on ovens. I'm not. Oh, changing the clocks.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So then, bored of summer. Gets to the summer, and you're thinking, God, I just want a nice hot drink, hot bowl of soup, and a warm fire.
Yeah, or you want a Sunday roast, you know, in front of a fire. You want a cosy night in, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think this is the perfect place for me to live because I get bored of all of the seasons eventually.
I mean, I would if it was the seasons were how I remember them when I was a boy.
Yeah.
Like if it was snowed in the winter.
Yeah.
And it was hot all summer.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
But the problem is like today, it's just most of the time it's just grey. It's just like meh. I would live. There are a million places. Not that I'm ungrateful. Well, I am a bit.
You are very ungrateful.
But yeah, I'd live a lot of different places than this.
Yeah.
But temperature-wise, I mean, look at these old trees. You know, you don't get these old trees
No.
many places, and you know, I do feel lucky to live in England, but yeah, no, south of France, Italy,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, those
southern
places are
Spain.
beautiful. Yeah.
I'd happily live there. Good food, good wine,
Yeah.
miles away from my family.
Yeah, see, this is it though. You're at that age now. You know, all of a sudden you're going to have to think, hang on, if I move anywhere, I'm going to see. You know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going
family.
anywhere, mate. No, I am here.
Yep.
I am here. But then again, you know, I lived that camper van, you know, canal boat life, and that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about that. That would be a fun thing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So, what's the most extreme weather you've experienced in this country?
It was when we went to the Faroe Islands. Oh no, sorry.
Oh, that was pretty bad.
yeah.
That wasn't this country,
It was
was
like landing on Jurassic Park. Do you
That
remember?
was-
We sat on this little twin prop. It's like
We were-
between those two huge cliffs.
For context, we had to go to the Faroe Islands to do a gig. This was years ago.
Yeah.
Like 15 years ago.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
And I didn't know where the Faroe Islands was, didn't bother looking it up, didn't take a coat. I thought we were going somewhere hot. Turns out it's near Iceland.
Yeah.
We ended up going to Iceland.
Is it us
because-
and the Scorpions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weather was so bad, we had to spend the night in Iceland.
Yeah.
We couldn't land on the Faroe Islands, so we spent the night in Iceland, didn't have a coat, freezing.
Yeah.
Then we eventually get to the
That's such
Faroe
a short
Islands.
thing.
I know.
Didn't have a coat.
We
Went to
landed in the
Iceland,
Faroe
didn't
Islands,
have a
you're
coat.
right. The
Yeah.
runway's between two mountains. It
Yeah.
was the scariest landing ever.
Yeah.
A woman wet herself, do you remember that? It was so scary, everyone was screaming. I had someone in my lap crying. There was a woman wet herself. It was terrifying.
And
And
we
then
got-
when we got there,
The stage had blown away.
the stage had literally, a massive festival stage had blown on its side.
Yeah.
So no gig. We ended up going to a nightclub,
Yeah.
throwing the band off the stage and doing a gig there.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah.
Whilst being very drunk.
Yeah. We did that a lot then, didn't we?
Yeah. But you're right. The weather was unbelievable.
I mean, it was like literal sideways rain. It was just.
The rain was. I'd never seen anything like it. The rain was going up. It
No.
was coming up these mountains and hitting you from the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was pretty bad.
But yeah, this country. What weirdest, most extreme weather you've had here?
The weirdest, I don't know about weird, but Snowdon, we've been up Snowdon a few
Okay, yeah, that
times.
can
and-
be bad, yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty horrific up there.
Yeah.
We were Lake District walkers for years. It's pretty changeable there. I don't know why.
I've just got a couple of specific memories. I remember being me and my dad when I was a kid. He snuck a day off work and we went to Hampton Court Maze. And in March, I remember specifically it was March, and it was so hot that he had a new car. He'd only had it like a week. The handles melted.
What?
It was unbelievable.
What, the door handles?
Yeah,
Really?
It was like it was so no one could get their head around it. I mean, it was probably like 1982, 83,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. But yeah, there was a particular March where there was one day where it went mad. And then I also remember when I was probably about 22 or something, I remember being out with my ex-wife and her sister, and we were coming out of a pub in Hitchin, and hailstones just came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
but they were like the size of marbles.
Well, I've seen, yeah.
And there was a car there, we could see it getting damaged, and then all of a sudden they started hitting us, and it was like everyone was screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't generally get that in
No,
this country.
I can remember the one where my brother lives, seeing exactly that marble-sized golf. Marble-sized golf.
Marble-sized golf balls.
Yeah, what
be
game that
disappointing.
was. Yeah, marble-sized hailstones.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, unreal.
So what do you understand as the difference between climate and weather? I've had this conversation
That's a
before.
very academic question.
Well, just because I remember someone...
Well, isn't climate more of a sort of an average, a mean?
I think a climate is to do with, the world. It's a larger set of data than weather is what you got.
What was the weather like on that day?
Yeah, whereas the climate is the much bigger picture.
Yeah, that's
Big.
what I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. So it has changed, hasn't it, significantly in our lifetime?
Yes, but then you think about what our lifetime is in the grand scheme of
it's
things.
tiny,
Yeah. So it could be, I mean, if you imagine compress that to a day and how much the weather changes in a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, undoubtedly it's changed.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. And I think people often forget, you talk about global warming and there's the Trump people and, that are saying, well, we've been through ice ages before and, we're on an upward trajectory or we're getting colder or whatever. And the Earth goes through these and you think, well, yeah, this Rogan is another one. What you're forgetting is what we're talking about is the contribution that man has made to this particular time since the Industrial Revolution, since intensive farming and, industry and the burning of fossil fuels and the felling of the rainforest and all of these things. There is definitely a contribution from man. Yes, I appreciate the world, the Earth goes through these different phases and changes and has done through the history of the Earth. But I think there's an undeniable proof that man has contributed to change. And I mean, you look at the weather around the world. These severe weather events. I mean, I understand Tenerife is underwater at the moment.
Yeah, there's just a lot more of that stuff going on. That never used to happen.
Wildfires in LA and most of Hollywood burnt down, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely more extremes in weather, isn't there, these days?
I tell you what, you've been to Australia, haven't you?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Yes, I mean that's a.
It's not the hottest place I've been.
Is it not?
No, I did a tour in the States, 2016, I think.
Death Valley.
I was in Arizona.
Yeah.
That was 50 degrees when I was there.
Yeah.
But I've also been to the Atacama Desert in Chile, and that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was something else. That was not just hot, but really cold. Those extremes within one day, day to night, were massive.
I guess that's kind of what we're lucky with in the UK is we don't get those massive extremes.
No, but
Really.
I think it's got hotter. Some of the summers now, not very recently, but a couple of years ago, we just had a stupidly sweltering few weeks. It was like unbearable. That's the only problem with this country. It's not built for that weather.
No.
There's not aircon places.
No.
There's, a real lack of, building design doesn't take that into account here. It doesn't work.
No.
We're set up for cold.
We are set up for cold, yeah. Always prepare for the worst.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, well, there we go.
that's
The
who'd have
seasons.
thought we could talk for so long
Vivaldi. Yeah,
about weather.
Yeah, there you go. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video.
Yeah, and you can watch this we've got a TikTok, haven't we, and an
Yeah,
Instagram and stuff. You can watch this on Spotify. Hello, earthquake. That's more severe weather. You can watch this on Spotify or Amazon or Apple Podcasts or, of course, YouTube, which is where you might be now.
Yeah, okay, so until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.